Hey y'all, it's been a minute. There is a lot of hoopla going on about this millionaires tax in Washington state, which basically is a tax on anybody of 9.9% making over $1 million a year in income. I'm like, if you can't live off of $900,000, people, I don't know what to tell you. But also, we just had our levy and bond here that was voted on in many places across the state to maintain and build new schools. And so when I had left for my trip to Arizona, I ended up running into a woman sitting at the bar with me because our flight was delayed and we needed a new plane. Um, that she is an assistant principal at the Arlington School District. I don't know what school she was at, but because of the levy and bond issue that just came back up, I asked her about post middle school because while I was surfing on the Facebooks, I ran across Duval, Washington, this Facebook group, and there was this woman that was constantly, I want to say her name was Lori Hunter, constantly just posting fucking crap, trying to get it not to pass. Well, by the way, she has pictures on her Facebook profile of like she's sitting in a private jet, and she seems like a real person from what her profile looks like. And so she kept on going on about, oh, well, the people up in Arlington, they didn't pass the levy and bond. And so they lowered how much it would be to build their middle school. And she was like conflating all these numbers. Well, here's the deal. Even though they lowered the amount for their levy and bond and what the taxpayers would be responsible for and all this stuff, Arlington still didn't pass the levy and bond. And so when I was talking to this woman about post middle school, she goes, yeah, it's really unfortunate. She says, because literally, if we're trying to make a financial plan for when, not if, but when the boiler goes out, because it's an old school. Like in Everett School District, Lowell Elementary School reminded me of when I went to Olivia Park in the third grade when we first moved over here. And I still can remember the smell of that school. And when I walked into Lowell Elementary, it smelled the same way. And I was like, dude, this is an old school. Because Olivia Park was probably built in the fucking 60s or 70s at that point. So I know a lot of people are pissy about this millionaires tax because they think it's just going to roll down to the rest of us. And I'm like, it's not, as long as Republicans don't become in charge. And the whole fucking reason we need to do shit like this is because the rich people aren't taxed enough anyways, and the Republicans don't want the rich people taxed. It's mind boggling. Anyhow, because they're for the little common man so much, right? They just want to protect the little man taxpayer. Well, you can't do that if the people, they get taxed at 50% and doesn't hurt them one bit, but then you try and tax us at 50% and it kills us. Why? Because they are fucking wealthy. So, all of this little stony business wrapped up, there is a lot of going back and forth about this millionaire's tax bill. And of course, Bob Ferguson, he wants to see it, I think, directed in more specific ways so it doesn't just go into the general fund, because the general fund gets a bad name because people are like, oh, people just pull money from it whenever they want, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Two things people never want to fucking pay for: roads and schools. That's where it should go. That's what I've told my representatives, and that's what I will continue to believe, because honestly, like being down in Tucson, the fact that when I was down there, that they had a billboard fight going on and signs everywhere about whether or not to fund their roads that look like Godzilla's woodpecker just fucking went to town on them. Giant holes in literally entire lanes of the road. There is shit going on all over down there, and people are literally fighting about infrastructure. The same infrastructure that companies like, I don't know, Amazon use to drive their fucking trucks everywhere and make a bunch of goddamn money. That's why we have to tax rich people. The people that are the wealthiest use the resources of not just our labor, but the infrastructure to build their wealth. Therefore, they need to pay more into it. They wouldn't have all of that opportunity without us. They may have a good idea, but they are only one person. One person. That one person, Jeff Bezos, didn't make all that money by himself. And he had a really fucking easy start. So let's start leveling the playing field for folks. Let's stop not assuming and believing that roads, infrastructure, healthcare, housing, that should be a foregone conclusion to a healthy and strong country. So my vote initially is that this millionaire's tax, income tax at 9.9%, and for all the people above that, then make billions of dollars, It needs to go to roads and it needs to go to schools. And if there's anything left over, we'll funnel it to other places. But is this really what we're doing? We're waiting for a boiler to go out in a goddamn ancient school in one of the wealthiest states in our nation. It's a fucking crock of crap. And that's why I don't want to send my money anymore to the federal government, because we squabble about getting our schools built and our road built and all of this shit maintained when we're subsidizing conservative states that fucking hate us and wish that we would die. You know, it's the truth. So I don't know, get a hold of your legislators, especially in Arlington. You folks up there that don't want to pay any more taxes, and I get it. I fucking get it, dude. We're not even all middle class in comparison to these rich people. We're fucking serfs. And we make them their money, so it's about time they pay that shit back. So get a hold of your legislators and let them know that not only do you support this tax on millionaires, but you want it to go to healthcare. You want it to go to schools. You want it to go to roads. You want it to go for the things that we're all tired of fucking paying for, that all of these people that are wealthy make their money. And, you know, the 50% tax isn't going to hurt them, but it goddamn sure hurts us. And that's what it feels like every time we have to continuously fight just to get basic shit done. Anyhow, happy Friday, y'all, and take care out there. It's pretty fucking horrible. Mwah. But it can get better.